Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Board of Education meeting. I'm going to call it to order. The meeting is being held in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act and is open to the media and public. Effective March 1st, 2026, all legal notices and board meeting dates shall only be posted on the district website in conformity with state code. Formal action may be taken. Can we get a roll call vote?
Ms. Cassidy.
Here.
Mrs. Fiore. Mr. Lopes.
Here.
Mrs. Menser. Mr. Pieros. Mrs. Rath.
Here.
Mrs. Ryan. Mrs. DePinto.
Here.
Mr. Rizzo.
All right, flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag
The United States of America.
to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, our next item on the agenda is the resignation of a board member. Michelle Menser has sent the board notice that she will be resigning from the board effective July 17th. And this motion is to accept her resignation. Any comments or discussion? All right, I'll do a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Seconds.
Ms. Cassidy.
Reluctantly, yes.
Mr. Lopes.
Yes.
Mrs. Rath.
Yes.
Mrs. DePinto.
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes. I do want to make one comment. Michelle, I don't know if you're watching. We're going to miss you. We wish you luck in the next, whatever we're going to get next. Excellent.
Yeah, Matt. Good evening, everyone. Happy summer. It's great to see you all tonight. I wanted to provide the board and the public with just an overview of district enrollment as we prepare for the 26-27 school year, and to review some of our staffing structures as well, along with an update on the number of students that have been redistricted over the past 5 years and even currently this year. So much of my presentation has been a repeat year to year with updated numbers. So there are some areas of the presentation I'll go through a little quickly, though other areas where I'll stop and I'll talk a little bit more in detail about some of the trends that we're seeing. So I'll first start with our school configuration. We have 2 pre-K through 3 schools, Three Bridges and White House. Both now, previously, Three Bridges School was the only pre-K building, but now both White House and Three Bridges have pre-K students. All students come here to Hollenbrook for grades 4-5, and then over to the middle school for grades 6, 7, 8. Our enrollment grades K through 8 are in our K-8 configuration, but we also partner with private providers for preschool, and many of our students, I would say almost 200 of them are preschool students. 200 are housed at White House Prep, Stanton Learning Center, Berry Patch, or Global Pioneer. So when we talk about total enrollment, we're talking about 4 in-district facilities, school buildings, as well as 4 private preschool partners as well. Our K-8 enrollment history shows a picture that's, I think, statewide and even nationwide when it comes to enrollment. One that talks about enrollment being quite a bit higher, about between 10 and 15 years ago. And we've seen through our enrollment trends without preschool that we've dropped a couple hundred students. We've seen the largest drop off of students in recent years over at the middle school. However, and this is data points that are provided to the board when we plan for the budget presentation each March. Conversely, our pre-K enrollment, if we just look at pre-K students, we add them in, pre-K students from the 22-23 school year where we began our universal pre-K program to now 26-27, we've seen a dramatic increase in the number of preschool students that we can service here at Bennington Township. So from 25 kids to almost 250 students, 4 and 5 year olds. Again, this is through not only our in-district facilities, but as well as our private preschool providers. When the Board of Ed met in March to make projections for the budget, we anticipated 1,380 students K-8 enrollment with about 240 preschool students enrolled in the district for a total of 1,620. At the bottom of this slide, I placed our projected student enrollment that we projected in March compared to what actually happens in September. So I'm not going to review every number with you, but if you take a look at the 25-26 projections, it was 1366 was our projected, and 1394 was our actual without kindergarten students. This tells us that we're pretty good at projecting our enrollment. We're within 20, 30 students of our projections. Actually, right now, we're hovering about 5 students from 1380 to 1385. So when we do our enrollment forecast, even without a demographer's report, the district is pretty good at aligning our budgetary and fiscal resources with our enrollment. Enrollment ends up a little bit higher in September than when you look back in March. But our alignment is pretty good, and we're able to allocate resources as well as staffing through the budget process in March every year to make sure that we have appropriate staffing for the students that come in each September. But let's look at the end of the year. So these are the May enrollment reports that the board approves monthly at each board meeting. So if you look at the end of the school year in 2025, pre-K through 8, we were 1,579. At the end of 2026, pre-K through 8, we were 1,636. Largely due to the fact that we opened 2 additional preschool classes between 25 and 26. But also, you'll even see the total K-8 enrollment. While we were projecting around 1,350, we are ending up at the end of the school year with about 1,400 students. So over the course of the year, we're seeing students move in as well. I think that I don't know if 25 and 26 I can make this statement, but I'm certainly looking in 26, 27, with the new housing development in the Three Bridges area, the Diaz property being developed, we may see a little bit of an increase of all student population over the course of the school year as they fill those buildings. Which brings me to housing developments. Perfect segue. The Diaz property, the one on the right-hand side of the slide, is currently under development in the Three Bridges area. It is a total of 80 units, 100% affordable. 15 one-bed, 45 two-bed, and 23 bed. We will likely see some level of enrollment over the course of the year this year. It looks like they anticipate completion maybe late fall, early winter. But because of those 23 bedroom units, that's where families mostly move. Now the building has begun. Once that's complete, we'll start to see some children enter the Three Bridges School as well as Hollandbrook and RMS. Go ahead, Pam. It's right there, you got it.
Right,
Yep.
it's not,
Yeah.
that's not my phone. I'm just curious, where is Three Bridges School on this map? Is it that little red?
No, it's down, I think it's cut off the map, it's down a little bit further.
Okay, I was just curious how
Yeah.
close it was.
I haven't clocked it, I'm not sure if it's walkable or not, but here's the region that's being developed. Here's Luna Pizza, and then the Three Bridges Railroad Yard.
Oh, so
You go across the railroad
school is
to
over
here, and then the school is up here. So here's Route 202, here's Railroad Avenue, and here's Main Street, and the school is up this way.
I was just wondering how much discussion we can have with the township about looking at walking routes and making sure that the builders are responsible for ensuring safe access, for the people that are moving there. I just noticed with Central that they put in all of this building and there are kids walking down Walter Ferran on a snowy day practically in the street. And it just, I'm ashamed that we have not addressed, these needs as we're designing these facilities and looking at the township. And I don't know how much influence you have on that, but my request is that,
We can look into it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any, I don't know, once this is developed, I don't know if there's, I know there's a connection to the Railroad Act, which is right here. Here's Grove Street here. Whether or not we're able to do any kind of like walking path here that leads up to Three Bridges School. The other thing is there's no sidewalks, I don't think, on Main Street, Three Bridges as well. So that may be something we have to look into.
thank you.
With the housing developments that we've seen in our township, we've been keeping an eye on redistricting as well, and our enrollment, particularly balancing enrollment between White House School and Three Bridges School. You may recall, we've had a 5-year phase-in approach. That 5-year phase-in plan is now complete. We started actually way back in the 2021 school year with a soft launch where we offered families the ability to move over from White House to Three Bridges if they chose for kindergarten or because maybe a younger sibling was going to be coming up. And then the 21-22 school year was the first year of implementation where newly enrolled kindergarten students or newly registered first, second, or third graders in the redistricted area went to Three Bridges as opposed to White House School. All in all, now that we are complete, we see this year new kindergartners. Here's our kindergarten enrollment at White House and Three Bridges. 14 students were impacted in the redistricting region. So that meant 14 fewer students at White House School and 14 more students at Three Bridges School. Balancing the numbers at 72 and 74 as opposed to numbers that may have looked like 86 and 60. And there were also no other newly enrolled students in grades 1 through 3 in the redistricted region. Overall, now that we've completed this 5-year phase-in approach, we have successfully transitioned 71 students over from White House to Three Bridges. If we did redistricting, which we did, we have enrollment that's balanced at 299 and 311, which is the difference of 12 students. We've not done redistricting, and I don't want to say all of these 71 students are accounted for because those 22, 23 kindergartners are now going into 4th grade. But if you look at K through 3 with 71 students minus the 12, we would have had enrollment K through 3 248 to 360, creating some imbalance between White House and Three Bridges. This allows us to allocate staffing resources, curricular resources to students and keep comparable programming between the 2 K through 3 buildings. We've had, no, please.
Would that also help keep classroom sizes down? Like additional?
I think so. I mean, certainly if you look at 360 students, would we likely have more 3rd grade teachers at White House than Three Bridges? Yes. But does that mean that maybe class size at White House could be closer to 21, 22, 23? Potentially, based off of available space. But it does help keep, based off of capacity of the buildings, usable resources and space. I think that this helps keep class sizes down and it keeps programming comparable between the 2 buildings as well. Transportation routes, think about everything that we have to operate. All of it makes it much more equal. We've added to our website a district map, recognizing that we did redistricting. Matt, I think I'm going to give Matt credit. I say it every year, but now he's here to hear it. Matt developed a great online searchable feature that we have linked to our website. The red section of Reddington Township is White House School. The blue section is Three Bridges School. If you go to that search feature on our website, you type in your address, it'll ping your house and you're either in the blue region or the red region. And it's very clear where your child would attend grades K through 3. I will make mention too that this map is also used to help delineate the 2 sides of town for our preschool program. With the 4 preschool providers, we're fortunate enough to have preschool at the White House side of town through White House School, White House Prep, as well as Golden Pioneer. On the Three Bridges side of town, we have Three Bridges School,
Berry Patch, and Stanton Learning Center. So it creates a nice divide and pretty reasonable transportation routes for our preschool students as well. The staffing impact for 26-27. So we look at enrollment in order to plan for the school year. We know, we've talked about this, that there were quite a few budget pressures over the course of the school year planning the budget. We know that there were higher than typical health benefit premium increases, much higher than typical liability insurance premiums, and increases in pension contributions. It was a real challenge for the administration to meet our budget goals, given the fact that health benefit increases were double digits as well as general liability and pension contributions. In response, we offered our employees the ability to provide us early notification of separation to better adjust and align our staffing for the upcoming school year, and the savings was approximately $1.1 million. In addition, this is what staffing ended up looking like for the 26-27 school year, going from 330 employees to a projected 318 employees. By doing this, the district still maintains small class sizes, all academic programs, expanded special education programs, no cost to parents for sports, clubs, activities, as well as transportation for all students. So I'm very proud of the work that the board and the district did in this area. It was an ability for us to do some cost savings. We did not have to do a reduction in force of any of our employees, and we still maintained all of our academic and co-curricular programs. So I am very hopeful, and I firmly believe that your average student and average parent will have no idea that a reduction in $1.1 million and all staff members even occurred. So this was a point of pride for us. And that concludes my presentation about staffing and enrollment. Are there any questions from the board?
I just want to recognize all the hard work. I think I mentioned it at the last board meeting, but between the administration and finance committee and Jason's team, like really there was so much that went into making that happen. And I hope the public can see it, because there's always a lot of questions about how to spend money and how responsible we are. And I think you proved it. And I want to thank you for all of this.
Appreciate it. Any other questions? The second item on my superintendent's report tonight was just a recognition of Michelle Menzer, who's going to be departing the board. So I just wanted to read a statement. She's not here tonight, but we have a certificate that I will mail to her. This evening, we express our gratitude and bid farewell to Michelle Menzer, who has served the board for over 3.5 years. Michelle was sworn in for the first time in January of 2023 and served the board through 2025 when she ran for re-election. Michelle was elected to a second term that started in January 2026. She faithfully served the board as a member of the Finance Committee and later as Finance Chair, where she championed our financial stewardship. In her time on the board, she was also appointed to the Policy and Communications Committee along with the Negotiations Committee. Recently, she worked with the negotiations team to successfully develop a revised agreement with the RTAA. Michelle consistently distinguished herself as an engaged participant in board matters by asking questions and making suggestions that ensured the board was focused on the best interests of students and staff. As a resident since 2018, Michelle also dedicated service to the community as an HSA volunteer for many years, further demonstrating her commitment to our students and our schools. On behalf of the board and the administration, we extend our most sincere thanks to Michelle for her contributions and wish her the absolute best in her future professional and personal endeavors. So thank you. And that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. Our next item is our first public session. It's for any action item that is on the agenda. You'll have 3 minutes to speak if you wish to speak. If you do, please come up, state your name and town that you are from, and we will have 3 minutes to speak on items on the agenda.
Hi, Catherine DeLuca, Reddington District 6. I actually had 3 specific questions regarding items on the agenda tonight. I don't know if they can be answered. The first is in regard to item 3.08 regarding the IDEA funds for the 26-27 school year. I was just wondering, as a first question, how that amount compares to previous years?
Answer questions at the end of the.
Sure. So that's question number 1. Question number 2 that I had, and this is in relation to your superintendent's report, as well as item 4.04 on the agenda. Apologies if this has been discussed. I don't recall it in recent meetings, but one of the things that I have noticed is there have been a lot of elimination of special education programs at Three Bridges to White House. I saw that the slide tonight with the redistricting had a tiny little kind of print on the bottom regarding self-contained special education programs. So I was just wondering if there can be some clarification regarding that, and if both schools essentially still have equivalent special education offerings in that sense. And the last question I have, and I know that we're holding these to the end, I'm just getting them out there, was if Ms. Spencer had given any indication in her letter of resignation, what was the impetus for resignation? That's all. Thank you.
Any other comments? So we have a policy to answer certain questions and not based on it. So the last question asks, it's up to Ms. Spencer to decide if she would want to disclose it. So we're not going to disclose any personal information from her. So it's really up to her if she would want to disclose it. She's not here. The other 2 items, I will defer to Dr. Hart if he wants to answer them.
Mr. Luca, I'll give you more solid numbers, but let me start with IDEA funds, which is agenda item 3.08. I'm looking back. IDEA specifically, the grant funding has increased approximately 5% since last year. I'm going to compare that. If it's okay, I'll email you. Let me do a little research and I can give you the exact comparison from last year to this year. But it just might take me a minute to get into a previous agenda to take a look at the exact number. But it's an increase of about 5%. 4.04, the board takes action to place special education programs in appropriate settings throughout the district. Self-contained special ed programs, excuse me. Currently in district, we have autism programs, learning and language disabilities programs, and our life skills program as well up at the middle school, all of which are what we consider to be self-contained special ed programs. And again, if you have any other questions, I can follow up with an email. Currently, there are 2 LLD programs. Well, currently this past year, there were 2 LLD, learning and language disabilities programs at Three Bridges School and 1 at White House School. So there were 2, which meant that if you were a learning and language disabled student, a self-contained special ed student, you needed to transition from preschool, then to like a kindergarten LLD program at Three Bridges, and then over to White House School, and then up to Hollenbrook. And it was too many transitions. In order for us to create an efficient use of our LLD program, our staff, and our behaviorists, we looked at our LLD enrollment and we decided to combine the program under one roof over at White House School. Similarly, there were special ed programs, both autism and an ERI program. Autism was at White House School, ERI was at Three Bridges School. These programs had students that had very similar needs and profiles. So we took those 2 classes, looked at the students, and developed IEPs to put them in one program, the autism program over at Three Bridges School. So basically what we did this year is we looked at our programs and we looked at our student needs, and to best align our special ed programs with our student needs, we streamlined programs to add staffing resources and to add curricular resources and place them under one roof to reduce the number of transitions students had to experience in their pre-K through 3 years.
May I ask a follow-up?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Does that mean then that were the majority of redistricted students, special education students, to align them to whatever program?
No,
Okay.
no, there wasn't. So the special education moves of the self-contained classrooms had no bearing on redistricting, and redistricting had no bearing on the other. This was about program efficiency and what was best, aligning student needs with the best program. You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, the next item is correspondence. We received one email, and as usual, that is with the board secretary on file. Now we're going to move into board action. The first item is the approval of administrative reports. We have items 101 through 104. Can I have a motion followed by a second?
I'll do it, Ellen.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Ms. Hunter?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yes.
Ms. DePinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. Next item is approval of minutes. We have items 201 through 202. Can I have a motion followed by a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay.
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yes.
Ms. DePinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Our next item is finance and facilities. There will not be a committee report. We are actually meeting on Monday for our finance meeting, so we'll have one at our next board meeting. We have 12 items, 301 through 312. Can I have a motion followed by a second?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just have a question. When do you decide the new chair of the finance committee?
I was going to talk about it later, but basically I was going to, one, we have to fill the position, which I think Mr. Bowman was going to discuss a little later on, the process for that. And
So then
I was
the
gonna,
immediate,
what?
in the immediate future for Monday's meeting?
Yeah, I was going to, for then, I'll probably take the role as the interim chair, and then we'll wait to see what happens. And then I was also going to see if anyone wants to change from one of their current positions to finance. So maybe you're tired of being on personnel line with finance, I don't know. I'll probably give the current board member, actually, I'm going to ask the current board members if they want to move. And if no one does, I'll just put the new person on the finance. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else? Okay, Mr. Bowman?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yes.
Ms. DePinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. Our next item is education technology. We do have a committee report, but before we get to that, we have 7 items, 401 through 407. Can I have a motion followed by a second?
Motion, Paul.
I'll second.
Okay. Paula?
Yes, Education Technology Committee met on June 8th for the virtual meeting. First topic was Special Education Determination Report for the fiscal year 2024. District meets overall requirements with 22 out of 30 points possible. This report will relate disproportionate representation, 8 of 8 points, meeting racial equity standards. Child find compliance is 6 of 6 points, meeting evaluation timelines. GLN participation rate is 2 of 4 possible points. Over 1% threshold despite meeting the state criteria. The least restrictive environmental LRE is 1 of 4 points. Students are spending less than 80% of time with gen ed peers. Non-compliance correction, 1 of 4 points. Doesn't address previous year's LRE of DLM issues. District percentile rank is 39.9 total. It's typical across the state, no district scoring above the 50th percentile. Plan to improve the LRE through inclusion opportunities and co-teaching models for the future. Schedules will create more inclusion opportunities at the elementary level. 2, the reading portfolio program evaluation. Dr. Hart reviewed the slide with the committee. Board members had concerns regarding parent access. A staff member with children in the district mentioned that communication was less with the middle schoolers, school teachers versus the elementary school. The board member discussed the following issues: parent access issues required clever login versus familiar Genesis portal, inconsistent teacher communication about the program, and students able to opt the parents out without the parents' knowledge. Some action items were add a yes or no question to the Genesis first pay forms, asking parents if want reading log access. And results would be available for October EdTech meeting review. 3 is a new teacher orientation schedule for the 4-day program, August 17th through the 20th. Day 1 is a welcome district mission, technology training, evaluation system, and benefits. Day 2 includes curriculum overviews, special education processes, student support systems. Day 3 is instructional practice demos, SEL and policy training. Preschool completes here also. Day 4, lesson planning, classroom management, individual principal and meetings. Enhanced features based on feedback from the past years. Individual building principal meetings added per new hire requests. Curriculum demonstration lessons by coaches and separate specialists for non-teaching staff sessions. NJSLA has been completed at 3 Bridges. Participation rate was 94%. 4 opts from 6 third graders. 4 out of the 61 third graders. Middle school participation rate was 93 to 94%. Last year was at 95%. Or last year, and this year was 95%. Higher opt-out rates during makeup testing periods. No state follow-up or consequences for 1 to 2% variance. The goal is to have 95% or more participation. Related to the NJSLA, the school performance report was also reviewed. ELA growth plus 3 points, math growth plus 12 points from prior year. Chronic absenteeism decreased and it's in a positive trend. English proficiency progress plus 10% for multilingual learners. Some subgroups exceeded standards, others not yet met target. The New Jersey school performance reports are updated on newjersey.gov/education. Bullet point 5, SEL assessment implementation. First year baseline established across K-3, grades 4 to 5 data heavy. Fall universal screening, spring reassessment for individual identified students. 71 to 100% of reassessed students showed growth to cultivation independent stages. Participation rates vary. Implementation may be adjusted for year 2. Successfully identified students needing tier 2 and 3 behavioral supports. A board member asked about the 5 competencies. The competencies are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, responsible decision-making, and relationship skills. Bullet point 6, quarterly technology report. Whiteboards upgrades so far 37 have been installed out of the 100 will be completed by August. Meraki switches to increase bandwidth and resolve performance issues and outages. POTS lines will be decommissioned. These are older phone lines, which will reduce costs. Summer network upgrades increase bandwidth at White House and 3 Bridges. Chromebook refresh. All Chromebooks in grades 6 and 7 will be refreshed for the next school year. Current planning for intercom paging systems upgrade for next summer. District has a MS-ISAC partnership, a cybersecurity membership at no cost, purchased by the NJCCIC, and is available to public sector agencies. The next meeting will be Thursday, August 6th, which was an moved to August 17th due to a board meeting conflict. Review of Genesis reading log survey results in October. That concludes my.
Thank you, Tom. Any comments, discussion?
I just wanted, I noticed item 4.07 with the Eagle Scout volunteer, and I want to thank Gail for his contributions, and I'm hoping we can put it on our Green Committee agenda as another activity that we're doing. So I want to thank him for coming back to the school and giving back. And
Anyone else?
Ms. Cassidy,
yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passed.
Next item is personnel. We have items 501 through 509. Can I have a motion followed by a second?
All motion. Second.
Okay. We do have some committee reports, and since Justine is not here, and I have a copy, I'll read them. I have one from June 12th and another one from July 13th, so I'll just read them in that order. All right, so I'll start on June 12th. The reason why we're doing two of them is because last time we had a BOE meeting, we didn't get a chance to read the committee report. It wasn't finalized by the time the meeting came. So on June 12th, it was attended by Justina, Pamela, Ellen, and Beth. And for administration, it was Dr. Hart and Jason. The first item is staff and updates for 26-27. The committee discussed staff and updates for the 26-27 school year. Kindly review the staff and document that was shared along with the agenda. The next item is employee count projection report. For 25-26, the staff was 330. For 26-27, the staff was 318. A net loss of 12 positions. Job description revisions, there's 4. One's preschool paraprofessional had a new description. The transportation supervisor updated to include snow removal responsibility. Transportation mechanic updated to include snow removal responsibility. And the nurse private duty nurse, new job description added for nurses who do not hold the school nurse certification and/or work with specific students. The committee discussed 2 personnel matters. I'm not going to talk about next items or agendas, because that happened in the past. All right. So July 13th, the meeting was attended by Justina, Pamela, Ellen, and Beth from the board, and as well as Dr. Hart and Jason. First item was staffing updates for 26-27. The committee discussed staffing updates for 26-27 school year. While a few positions remain open, most are related to long-term leave coverage. RMS and Hollenbrook School are fully staffed. TBS has several openings, including a clerical aide, a pre-K teacher, and a kindergarten teacher. White House School has 1 opening for a pre-K teacher. Stanton Ridge School has 1 remaining opening, and transportation has 1 opening for a bus aide. The district also continues to work on filling short-term leave positions. For years of service thank yous, we discussed gifts and check amounts of thank you staff and for the years of service. Enrollment and redistricting review, enrollment projections. The district has continued to monitor all levels as we are receiving registrations. Dr. Hart mentioned specifically keeping an eye on TBS and White House to ensure we keep class sizes small. There's a presentation for July BOE, which we just had, and staff assignments. The committee also discussed staff and budget updates. By offering an early retirement incentive, the district secured $1.1 million in savings across 12 positions, demonstrating a fiscally responsible approach to staffing while maintaining high educational services. There's a board retreat in August. NJSBA was proposed to lead it. Dr. Hart recommended utilizing NJSBA to facilitate this year's board retreat instead of Judith Wilson, which had led the retreat in previous years. The rationale is that the NJSBA has already worked with the board in developing goals and can provide community by assisting with goal setting in September. The board self-evaluation will be discussed during the retreat. The committee agreed with Dr. Hart's recommendations to have NJSBA facilitate this year's retreat. The board reviewed an organizational chart and no changes were made. There's new RTAA leadership. Dr. Hart informed the board that the leadership of the RTAA has appointed a new president and vice president. Notice this marks the first leadership transition in many years. Jonathan Moss has been appointed president and Sarah Pouch as vice president. A personal matter was discussed and settled. And on the agenda, we have new hires, years of service, thank yous, and other typical agenda items. And our next meeting is August 10th at 3 p.m. With that, any comments or discussion? Okay, Boone?
Ms. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yes.
Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
All right, for policy and communication, we have one item, 601. Can I have a motion followed by a second? Okay, we do have a committee report, no? No, okay, so we don't have one yet, okay. Any discussion? Okay, Ms. Miller?
Ms. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
All right, our next item is unfinished business. Jason, do you want to discuss the convention?
There's no real update on the convention, but if you do not plan on attending, simply let me know. The deadline is still a month and a half away, so there's plenty of time. The agenda and more information on the workshops probably will not be out for at least another month. So once that comes out, we'll email everyone, so that way people potentially attending can look at the workshops and decide what night they go.
Thank you.
Just a brief update for everybody. I've got good news and bad news about the convention proposal. You know that we submitted a proposal for our referendum strategy to be presented at school boards. Unfortunately, that proposal was not accepted to be presented at school boards. The good news is, though, Lori, our communications consultant, and I also submitted a proposal related to the key communicators group and the success we had. That was accepted. So I don't know why one proposal over the other, but we will be represented as school boards presenting. It just won't be the referendum proposal, but I'll be there and I'll be presenting. So if anybody goes, keep an eye out for that particular conference session.
That's good news.
Yeah.
Anything else? Board self-evaluation and board retreat. That's coming up, was it August? Was the next meeting you mentioned?
August 18th.
August 18th.
I had spoken to school boards, had her reserve the date. I'll talk to the school boards rep in a little bit of detail about the format. I'll send it over to you and to Ellen just to review if there's anything you want school boards to hit in our retreat. And I assume the self-evaluation will be part of it, likely, and then maybe just some governance work, but I'll let you know. Proceed with that.
Speaking of self-evaluation, I had sent out the link a few weeks ago, so if you haven't done it, just go in and make sure. I'll have Kathy go in and pull the data once everyone does, and I'll probably have her go, I'll ask her to give me a status update as well, so we see how many people are outstanding. And then we have a board vacancy process, and I believe, Jason, you're going to cover this? I'd like one of you to, right?
I'm going to use your email because
Okay.
it's quick. So with Michelle vacating her position, we collaboratively all took a look at the timeline to fill the vacancy. So by statute, we have to do it in 65 days, but the timeline looks like this that we've discussed. Michelle's resignation is effective July 17th. The public posting for the vacancy will be on July 20th, which will be Monday. The submission deadline, August 7th. We've accepted Michelle's resignation tonight. Interviews we're planning for the August 18th board meeting. That'll be a little bit of a longer meeting. We'll start the meeting at 5, see how many candidates are interested and how many we'll interview. We'll do interviews first, followed by the retreat, followed by our regular business meeting. So still plan to attend to 5, just know that the meeting might be a little bit longer. After the candidates interview, we'll discuss. We will select the candidate and vote on them that evening, August 18th. The candidate will then be informed and then sworn in on the September 8th Board of Ed meeting. So that's typical, runs in line with the process that we used when Carolyn departed, and it is well within the 65-day timeline.
Thank you. Any comments or discussion on that?
Questions, concerns, just make sure you're available August 18th.
That's a great.
Yeah, we'll still, then just remember the meeting will start at 5, interviews first, then retreat, then regular business. And I will, the only other thing Jason and I typically do is provide the board with an update on summer projects. So we'll have that presentation, mostly photos for you, which I think would be a nice thing to see, even if it's just walking through some of the photos of all of the referendum work and some of the things that we've done over the summer.
Anything else before we move on? Good. Okay, excellent. Our next item is our open to the public forum. It's for any item on or off the agenda. Similar to before, you'll have 3 minutes. If you wish to speak, please come up, state your name and town you're from, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hello. My name is Kathy Charniak and I live in Reddington 18 years, and my children have attended all the public schools here. I want to talk tonight about the First Amendment and about the comment made by a member of this very board. It's too bad he's not here today. In a Tap Into article published December 26, 2025, board member Richard Pieros was quoted discussing this board's approach to book removals. He said, and I'm quoting him directly, I think you would tend to say that having safety for our children and what they read is more important than being afraid of litigation. So there has to be a time where you stand up for what you think is right and not let our goals and objectives be dictated by attorneys, litigators, and First Amendment people. You just do it and let the chips fall where they may. I want to sit with the phrase for a moment, the First Amendment people. Because I am one of those, so is everybody in this room tonight. So is every parent, student, taxpayer that this board represents. The First Amendment isn't a special interest group standing in the way of this board's goals. It is a foundation of this entire country. And yes, this school district stands on. It protects the rights to speak, the right to learn, and the right to read. The biographer Robert Caro, who spent his career studying how power actually works, once wrote that power doesn't always corrupt as much as it reveals. I think about that line when I hear a quote from Mr. Pieros. A seat on this board is a position of real power over what our children are allowed to read and learn. And how someone uses that power says a lot about them. Do they wield it carefully, or do they treat legal concerns, civil rights like inconveniences to brush aside? Either way, it reveals something about the values underneath. When we talk about safety, I'd ask the board to consider what that word really is doing here. Because removing books doesn't make children safer. It makes them less prepared for a world of ideas that this board doesn't get to pre-approve. And then protecting children becomes the justification for decisions that consistently align with one political or ideological viewpoint. It's worth asking who's actually being protected, the kids or the agenda that's using them as cover. And when the response to legal and constitutional concern is let the chips fall where they may, understand what that reveals. It reveals a willingness to risk this district's resources and credibility, not to protect the children, but to avoid being told no. I'm here tonight because I have exactly the same right to stand in this room and speak as anybody else on this board. The right doesn't come from a seat that you hold. It comes from being a citizen of this country. So I'll say it plainly, I'm a First Amendment person. I'll keep showing up here and I keep asking the questions over and over, whether you like it or not. And to the public that is watching
Can I just
also,
ask you to finish up?
excuse me?
Could you please finish up? We're on
Yes.
3 minutes.
The book, I just want to reveal to the public that the book that is being censored right now, it's called The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky.
Anyone else who wants to speak?
I'm Al Stankovich, Bennington Township, 20-year resident. Yeah, that's an interesting book she brought up. The First Amendment gives us something that is very important: diversity of experience. If we go down just a singular path of experience in our lives, we're not going to experience everything that we need to know to grow and mature. Children are not as sophisticated as adults. They cannot process all the problems they're faced with and that they will be faced with as adults. As part of their learning experience, they need to understand a diversity of situations that they may have to live in. Now, from a mental health standpoint, the biggest the biggest influencer on adverse behaviors is stressors. Situations that children do not know how to deal with, and they are being stressed, and they don't know how to address things, and they act out. And it's not acting out, and not acting out intentionally, they just have exceeded their ability to cope. So the necessity of having books in our libraries that allow them to expand and understand the situations that they are confronted with will help them to bring it to the surface and perhaps bring it to qualified people that they can discuss it with. If we believe we lived in a perfect world and there was only one situation in one life direction, we wouldn't need this diversity of understanding. And thus I believe that our libraries should be diverse, and that to reduce this experience of understanding can create harm. More harm than can be realized than not having the experiences available to them. So I suggest that we keep our options open, and we don't really need Hunterdon County to be the banned book capital of New Jersey. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have comments?
Right. Catherine DeLuca again, Reddington District 6. Something that strikes me whenever I listen to the school board meetings is we almost seem to be living in two different realities. There is the world where I am seeing phenomenal initiatives being put forth to students, and students and educators really working together for something that's really wonderful and is a core strength of what our community is. And the other side is what I am seeing among the board members at the meetings that I attend and observe. Which suggests to me that these successes are despite the dysfunction of this board, not because of them. Something that really strikes me is that the board is one unit, or ideally it should be. Decisions come together. Everybody is supposed to be inputting their ideas and coming to a consensus. I'm not really seeing any good discussion. At the prior meeting, there were some really valid points made regarding the nomination to the Book Challenge Review Committee. There was no discussion that went on, at least in a public forum, regarding those concerns that were brought up. That's one example, but so often I am seeing steamroll of a majority against a minority, and that's not how a board should function. Like, this is one unit working to set the policy for the district, and it's not just one voice overriding all others. So my hope is, with the loss of Ms. Menser, and I clearly don't know the circumstances, but I'm sad to see that. There were really engaging questions that were brought up. And I really hope that the board takes this opportunity to evaluate the direction that it's going in, because we don't want to be an embarrassment. We don't want to be that board who is doing things despite we should be working collaboratively. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone online? There were no direct questions, so we're gonna.
I had an answer to Mr. Luca's earlier question. I
Oh, you
got the
did?
numbers,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Mr. Luca, for the 25-26 school year, IDEA basic was 406,710. IDEA preschool was 14,878.
I'm so sorry, do you have more time?
I can email you if you want me
Yes,
to.
yes.
Okay, I can do that. I'll give you, I have the numbers for you, but I'll email you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we close that public session. Our next item is executive session. It's a motion to adopt the following resolution. Resolved to adjourn to executive session in accordance with the Sunshine Law to discuss HIV and legal matters for approximately 60 minutes, at which time the board expects to return to public session where action may be taken. Matters discussed will be made public if and when the circumstances requiring confidentiality no longer exist. However, it is not known when such circumstances will exist. I will move. Can I get a second?
Second.
And a second. Can I get a vote?
Ms. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Ms. Rad,
Yes.
Mr. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo,
Yes.
passes.
Thank you for attending this evening.